Meeting to order. Do we have? Andy here to?
I'm gonna be doing everything today.
Okay.
So I'll do roll call.
Okay.
All right, Parrot.
Here.
Ribbons. Roberts. Oh, no, sorry. Gomer. Yep. Freeberg.
Here.
Brian. And Hayes.
Here. All right, we have approval of the agenda for February's meeting. Can I get a motion to approve?
I so move.
Second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have approval of January's meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Public comment. It doesn't appear we have anybody for that. No old business, all new business. We need to consider the approval of the sidewalk agreement with Copper and Fringe located at 124 West Ashland Avenue.
Yeah, just kind of a precursor to both these two agenda items. Again, new commission, all of that. One thing that we talked about was bringing these sidewalk use agreements forward to the Downtown Square Commission. We did send an email out after it was approved. I believe at your December meeting, I think we sent it out actually sometime after January, just getting through the holidays. So far, we've received 2 to date. So we're going to be sending some reminder emails out regarding those. But on the first one here, Copper and Fringe is requesting approval of a temporary sidewalk sign to be located on the sidewalk adjacent to their business at 124 West Ashland Avenue. It is a sandwich board type sign that is roughly 4 square feet. And stands about 3 foot tall. The sign will be located on the sidewalk during business hours, where there will be a 5 foot free walking path that will remain. They've provided all the insurance that we require. And if this is approved, we will get into the sidewalk use agreement with the applicant at that time. So I think this one's a pretty simple one, but if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next up, I'm gonna have to excuse myself from this one. It's the approval for the Brick House sidewalk use agreement at 107 North Buxton Street.
And on this one, Brick House Tavern is requesting approval of 2 temporary sidewalk signs in an outdoor seating area that'll be located on the sidewalk adjacent to the business at 107 North Buxton Street. The signs, again, are sandwich board type signs that are roughly 6 square feet in size and stand about 3 foot tall. The signs will only be located on the sidewalk during business hours where a 5 foot free walking path will remain. Additionally, the outdoor seating area includes 4 round tables that are 4 feet in size and include 5 chairs each. Those will remain outside of normal business hours as well. The site plan does show that a 9 foot free walking path would remain with those tables in place. The city has been named as an additional insurer on the liability policy of $1 million. And the applicant does have outdoor service included in their state of Iowa alcohol beverage license. So with that one and on this one too, just to note, the outdoor seating area, I believe that what do we call that? The patio that's always out there, that's part of a different agreement that the applicant has with council, not part of this one. So that is not actually being looked at in this one. So just the sidewalk use on this. So
Make a motion. I'll second.
Can I still run the Roberts rules?
Yeah, that's-
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. I mean, that's all we have on the agenda for today.
And if I can give a few updates, pretty light agenda, but a few things that I know that we are going to continue to be working on. We're still looking, I know we talked last time about doing the historic district in the downtown. We're still trying to kind of see how much staff time that's going to take and how much assistance we're able to get from the Warren County Historical Society on doing some of that. I think right now we're still kind of at a standstill, just doing a little bit of research on that. And then I know we had the presentation on the Main Street, Iowa, with application process that does start next year. I think in early 2024 is when that application process starts, but I think it's our intention to kind of do some of that legwork before we get to that application process and make sure that this commission is on board with going through that application process prior to doing that. So I think we'll start kind of getting into that a little bit. Lastly, the facade grant program. That has been open. I think everybody's been informed on that. We've had quite a bit of feedback and questions on it. I don't think we've had any official submissions, but I did want to remind the commission and let everybody know, help spread the word that we are having an information session on that on Thursday morning at 9:30. Here in the council chambers. We'll also be recording that and trying to then put that video out there for anybody who's not able to attend. So just please help spread the word on that. And we'll obviously push it on our end as well too. So that is all I have to update on. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything you'd like to update.
You guys spoke to, I wasn't here at the last meeting, but you guys were talking a lot about alleys. Did you do any more?
We've talked internally, so I know, I think the opponents of doing string lighting, we've talked a little bit more on some of the possibilities on that. And I think we've got a comfort level at staff that we can do that. Now we haven't gone and talked to building owners and everything yet about how we're going to do that. I'll be honest, since our last meeting, I've had a couple weeks of vacation built in on February, just because it's always our slow time and I try to take some vacation during that time. So I haven't had quite a bit of time to work on anything on that, but I think again, that's going to be something once the warm weather gets here that we're going to start looking at and trying to see if we can't get anything on that moving. So.
Do you have the timeline for the alleys in the back parking lot?
No, so we're doing our first construction meeting for next season today. So today I'll have a lot more information, I think, on that. Last time we talked, since they're going to be doing a lot of the utility work underground, they really have to have those overnight temperatures get above freezing before they can start doing a lot of work. So it's a little bit different than when they were doing streets and they're doing pavement removals and stuff like that. So they kind of guessed it would be mid-March at the soonest, but I think we'll get a little bit more today. I haven't looked at any long-term forecast for the area to know if anything's changed. But again, I think once we get a little bit more information today, we'll hopefully start pushing some of that out.
Excuse me if I've been told this and I don't remember, but do you know where you're going to start?
Not 100% yet. No. Yeah, it was thought that we would start in the alley behind Regions Bank. We now know that we're not going to start in that one because just with how the timing is going to work out, but we need to talk through some of that just to figure out what alley is going to be best to start in. So I know we were waiting, would be the north alley. So the one behind you, Marvin, there was with where Warren County Oil used to be, there was some what they call flumes with some of the old oil that was in there that we had to change some plans on the water mains that were being used because we couldn't use PVC water mains. We had to use more metallic water mains just because of what's in the soil. So we were waiting on some DNR approval on that. And I think we've gotten all of that. So that kind of opens up some possibilities on that one. But we just need to talk through some of that stuff with the contractor.
It's probably the busiest alley too, isn't it? On the square, the north one, as far as the parking and stuff like that. A lot of them.
No. Yeah.
A lot of trash cans, a lot of recycling. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's busy.
Are there going to be, so following up from the alleys, is there a information gathering, brainstorming kind of session for that? Or it's just reviewing the lighting or?
You're talking the pedestrian alleys?
What's the
Yeah,
plan?
I think at some point, so what we want to do, at least with those pedestrian alleys on the lighting, that was kind of the big thing. And the reason we brought that forward last month was we had some funding availability if we were going to purchase, I think it was the $15,000 worth of streetlights. Obviously, we're not going to do that anymore. So we need to get this construction started on this one. But before we do any of the string lighting, I think we'll probably come back here and get kind of an overall plan from the commission, or at least talk through some of those options before we put anything up. Yeah.
Right, I would think there'd be like a look and feel or a
Yep.
plan
Yeah.
that ties into
Yep.
square.
100%. I think that is our plan. We're just, trying to get the construction project started right now, but before we do anything major, or we start putting anything up, we're definitely going to do that. Yeah.
What kind of, anybody have any other questions about the alleys or that process? I had a question about snow removal. What kind of learning and reviewing we can do with the city to possibly talk about what we've learned from this year's winter about the advantages and disadvantages of pushing snow versus removing snow. Feel like with our new parking situation, that's something that for safety probably needs to be addressed.
You're talking the city's snow removal on the streets,
Yes.
our sidewalks.
Well, not sidewalks. I feel like the businesses, I walk the square 4 times a week and I feel like the businesses are doing a lot better job of doing their snow removal. Not a lot of excess and salt. I think that that's been like really good. But those parking spots, when we push the snow and how many, you lose even 9 inches of one of the parallel or the nose end parking spots. You have cars that are sticking out in the street and things like that. I noticed in Winterset, they do a lot more snow removal instead of snow pushing. Kind of
Well,
taking,
I can bring our public works director next time because I think everybody knows this. I'm not responsible for snow removal at all, so I don't understand how it works. My understanding always was that they will push during the event and then they come back like a day later, once, they get all the streets cleared and they'll come and remove at that point. So there might be a day or two. Is that not happening or?
I think it happened. But it's that one day, like whatever day that was, that it just snowed.
yeah,
And yes, there was a lot of snow, but I feel like we talked about this way back in the days of the focus group for the square. And it was like we brought it up at the time and it was kind of like, oh yeah, well, we know that we're gonna have to do a little more fine tooth snow removal. And I think there needs to be a solution to that. Either it's like the city has a 4-wheeler or a gator or something, but what happens is the snow gets pushed and not removed. And then all of a sudden it's like you now have people out in the street, right? Or they can't get within 4 feet from the curb and yeah, there's snow everywhere. And then there's no inlets, right? So there's no inlets to go onto the square. So now you have people walking down the middle of the street to get to one of the end corners.
Had to do all day Thursday and Friday. Daycare provider, we don't get snow days. So had to go to work. They let it sit and because the storm happened all day Thursday. I get it. You don't work during the storm. Friday, a lot of it turned to slush. There was so much water. I was walking down the middle of the street and I'm like, sorry, car, sorry, because there was so much slush sitting on the sidewalk, at least on the street. I had a place to drain. There was like so much. I know it only happens a couple times a year, but then Friday night it froze. And then I'm like, I had to go get my ice shoes to walk to my parking lot because it was bad. Friday was bad.
There's more snow being pushed now because our sidewalks are so much larger. Previously with the nose in parking, we only had maybe 7 feet of sidewalk, maybe 8 feet of sidewalk. Well, now we've got like 15 feet of sidewalk clear and all that snow goes right onto the curb where they're trying to parallel park.
And I don't think they have the large, I'm sure, snow removing truck that can't get into the parallel parking and around. And so then it just becomes the sidewalk snow goes out and the street comes in and there becomes 4 feet of snow that's all around the square that then makes the square unusable and not pedestrian friendly and all the things. And I feel like that was a conversation that we talked about during the planning session that was kind of brought up and it was like, oh yeah, we know that the layout's going to be different and there's going to be lots of inlets where you're going to have to kind of go around and trace through the snow, that it's just like going through once with the big snow removal snowplow isn't.
Yeah. It's a little more difficult now for the 2-wheel drive cars also because their drive wheels are right there on the curb. Previously with the nose in, their drive wheels, if it was a rear wheel drive, they were out in the roadway more. And if it was front wheel drive, they're still 2 or 3 feet from the curb because of the bumper and everything. But now their drive wheels are right in that bank of snow. I had to help I've shoveled our sidewalk the morning after the snow. And I basically stranded this guy because he couldn't get out. So I went out there and helped him get out of this, re-shoveled all that snow that I just shoveled, moved it around and
Well, I'll talk with our public works director and maybe that's just something that we can maybe bring him to the next meeting or figure out a way just to kind of maybe have some session or something like that. So he can hear some of the concerns and be able to get back to him. Because like I said, I don't manage that. I'll let him kind of watch this meeting and just know what some of those concerns are and we can go from there.
Yeah, it just seems backwards how I understand waiting till the snow event is done. But when it was snowing and there wasn't anybody parked anywhere and you could have gone just about an hour before it was done, pushed all that stuff from the parking out to the center, had another truck push it to wherever you guys can stockpile it, load it out of here. And man, it would have been done.
Yeah,
It seems like you're just chasing your tail, pushing it out and then going back at 3 a.m, pushing it back to the center, pushing it out when everybody's gone. It's like, you just want to do that once for fuel and employment. It's just like, I don't get it.
And the melt off has to be treated because it freezes overnight.
You guys must like to work a lot more than I do.
Well, and again, I don't think I'm breaking any news here. They've obviously got an entire city to maintain. They've got cul-de-sacs that they have to worry about that take a lot of attention. I can tell you just from some internal stuff, like every time we get to winter, they are asking people all over city to help with snow removal. We have IMU helping out. We've got the Water Resource Recovery Facility helping out. We have Parks and Rec helping out. It's a giant operation. It takes a lot of manpower and we don't necessarily have that much manpower. So I can't get into the nuts and bolts of the schedule, why they do things when they do it. But I'm sure if AP's here, he can maybe explain that and then maybe take some of the comments that we have and adjust if he's able to do that. So I will talk with him and see if we can't get that set up for our next meeting. All good things for him to hear.
Awesome.
I have a question. This has nothing to do with snow removal, but I think about it all the time when I drive by and I don't know if anything could be done and maybe it's just a dream, but since parking is kind of something that people still unfortunately talk about, the lot that's right over here that used to be Drug Town or I don't know, the music place most recently.
Yeah, my videos.
Family Video, yeah, I forgot what it was. It's been so many things, but that parking lot just seems empty all day long. And I just think when there's very few, there's some parking lots out there, but on the north side, as we know, there aren't any. Is there any way could the city rent it?
We've talked to him and the short answer was no. There's a lot of reasons for it, but yeah, they weren't too open to us renting it without some major things that would need to take place from our end. So.
People park there all the time though. Do they get in trouble?
Yep.
Yeah,
And
they do.
I mean, the owner could tow them if they chose to do so, but I don't think they do. So
Is the owner local? I don't.
they're out of Chicago, so.
Yeah, people, the garage, I think when the garage is, the busy.
Construction was going on, that place is very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think just like now, like on a daily basis, I think the people that attend the garage, they always park.
Better use of space than
Mhm.
empty spots.
Yep.
And maybe it's too expensive to buy, but like.
It is.
But I can tell you with some of the city hall concepts that we're looking at, one of the big things that we are trying to do is increase availability of parking with that project as well too. So we're still in the very infant stages of kind of redesigning our process on that. And obviously we've got to go to referendum and all of that stuff to get that approved, but we're still looking through some of that. So.
I hate to even bring up parking, but it's just like, I see that lot sitting there and think, oh, that's kind of a waste.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you guys.